So here we are now, after I've soldered two pieces of round wire together to make our prongs. I want them to be 11.5 millimeters each. So I'm going to lock in on about 11.5 millimeters. And I'm going to adjust my tool that gives me a set measurement every time. I'm going to lock that, and then I'm going to start cutting. So here I'll give myself a good end cut. Here's my saw. It's loose. Let me just take care of this real quick. So that's that. So I'm going to start cutting. Okay, here we go. Four prongs. Now we need to know where to place them. Okay, what I did here is I marked the center line across, and then I came out and I marked 4 places to be able to put my prongs in place. So I wanted to check just one thing first, the distance between my lines, to see if they're equal. Guess what? They're equal. That's wonderful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a separating disc, a cutting disc. Put this up there, put this away. And I'm going to get a separating disc. And I'm going to go look for my line that's there. And I'm going to put a line where I marked it. Oh, that'll work fine. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go the other direction because I'm going to get the total width of my prong. Now, 2 prongs together should be about 2.2, and there it is, because it's 1.1 millimeter wire. So I have to get an area that will take this 2.2 millimeters. So I'm going to go to the inside. And I'm cutting another line. So there's that. So this is 169, so it's a little bit small, but I can most certainly grind with it. I know this one's good. Okay, now I have to smooth that off because it's got grooves. Let's see what this wheel does here. This is diamond once again. So okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a crow spur, and on each side of it, and try not to slip like I just did. Then I have to clean it up, which I will have to. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to sand this. So, got rid of the bird edge. Now I'll take the 400 and I'll sand that. And also, I'm going to go fix the place that I messed up here. So if you don't want these marks on your piece, then you got to be perfect and not make any mistakes. But anyway, we have this ready to go. The next thing we do is we're going to solder these prongs on. So I'm going to check them really quick. I'm going to take one of these, and I'm going to take my pair of pliers to hold on to it. I'm going to go around and make sure that they all fit like I want them to, each and every one of them. So, looks good so far. So I want to put them in on a little angle. I'm going to also check the depth. So if I come in on that right there, that'll work just fine. So now what I'm going to do is get my clamp so that I can solder these on. So that'll be in place. I'm going to use 18 yellow easy. The reason why I'm doing that is in case there's something that I have to change, move around, I can still do it. When I solder the under bezel on the bottom, it will be with 18 yellow hard. But for this, I'm going to use 18 yellow easy. So here we come. Okay, so there's that. Once again, some flux. And you try to use just the right amount of solder. Sometimes you have to go back in and add some more as you are, after you assemble the bottom under bezel to it. But, you know, for right now, this gives us a good start. So I'm going to go ahead and solder this together. See if I can get it this way. So I get the heat on the soften this flame up a little bit. Okay, so I'm checking to see whether it's perpendicular. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just get a pair of tweezers like this and put it underneath it. See how it moved? So it's not perpendicular to the under bezel. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this to see how the stone fits. I'm going to go ahead and just quench this real quick. Be right back. Let's get the stone. Let's see how it fits. I want to make sure that I have enough metal there to be able to set the stone, which I do. So that's the length that I want to do all the way around. Now I have to check this and make sure it's perpendicular here, which it is not. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that. So I'm going to get a soft flame. Whoop. Let's see how I've done here. I am curious.
First one's always the hardest one.
Okay, so I'm checking it. Oh, that looks good. Nice, nice, perpendicular. The angle's good. My stone should fit right in there. Real nice. Once I have all the prongs in place, I can pull that forward a little bit for setting purposes or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the other three. Okay, that looks very good. So now we're looking at it and we're saying, well, how do the prongs look? Well, if you can see that the angles are good, the lengths are good. So now I'm going to go to my next prong. Okay, it's a little crooked that way. Still want to see, can I grab this? Sometimes you can form a little miracle here and just grab it by just a little tiny edge. You see that? I grabbed it by a little tiny edge. Now I can get in here. Let's see how it is lengthwise. I can put a little more angle on it. Let's see how that works. So I'm going to go back to doing that again. I'm going to get some more solder. Get some flux. What happened to my solder? My solder took a walk. Okay, let's get the solder on here. Okay, there's the solder. Now I'm going to get the prong. I'm going to pick it up out of the drawer. I think I can use my pliers this angle. Let's see what I can do. So I'm going to put some flux on this. Let's see how this looks. Can go up a little bit more. Okay, let's see how that looks. Not too bad, but it's not on there all the way. So I got to grab it another way and do it this way. See, now I'm going to come in here and allow the piece to flow out all the way. So that looks really, really good. Okay, so I'm going to throw this in the acid. I'll show it to you and explain to you what I have to do next.